Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salah Puspita, my friend Regina Salsabila, Intan Oktatria, and Raffi, we will present the material about food safety and personal hygiene. Types of food contamination. First is food poisoning. Food poisoning is acute illness caused by the consumption food or drink contaminated with pathogen. Food contamination divided until two, food poisoning and food contamination. Food poisoning is referred to acute illness caused by the consumption contaminated food, while food contamination refers to any harmful substance unintentionally added to food. This substance may come from natural source, environmental pollution, or arise from food processing. The example of biological contamination is Vibrio paramolyticus. The source is come from seafood and shellfish. The characteristic is die after heating in high temperature for 10 minutes. The effect from Vibrio paramolyticus is nausea, fever, abdominal pain, diarrhea, and vomiting.
I will explain about foodborne illnesses. Foodborne illnesses means disease that caused by food contaminated with virus, bacteria, parasites, or toxins. In this slide, there are 4 examples of the illnesses. There are hepatitis A, cholera, basically dysentery, typhoid fever, and paratyphoid fever. Maybe I will explain about detail about one of them, cholera. You can get cholera if you consume water that contaminated, or you eat raw food, or you eat seafood that undercooked. Because as I know, seafood should be cooked in the high temperature so bacteria in the seafood can be gone. In the next slide, I will explain about common causes of bacterial food poisoning and food disease. The first may be because your food preparation, like you use unsafe food source, inadequate cooking of food, or inadequate saving of food before cooking, it can be caused. And the second is food storage, like if you contaminate your cooked food with uncooked food in one place, or you saving your food in improper storage, like prolong it in 4 degrees Celsius until 60 degrees Celsius, it can be cause bacteria in your food. And number 3 is eating habit, like you have habit that you eat raw food or leftover because without you knowing in your food it has a bacteria in there that it can make you sick. And how to avoid or the prevention of bacterial food poisoning and foodborne disease. First one, you can protect your food from contamination, like you should save your food in the proper storage. And number 2, prevent bacteria from propagating. And number 3, destroy bacteria in your food. Like example, if you want to eat seafood, you have to cook it in high temperature so the bacteria in there can be gone. And the next I will explain about viruses. Viruses trace is around 10 to 100 times smaller than bacterial, but don't be worried because viruses can be able to grow in your food, drink, not to make your food perish too. And the effective doses of most viruses are very low, like 10 to 100 pathogenic virus particles can cause disease. And the source of viruses mainly is from shellfish and food items handled by infected food handlers. And how to avoid or the prevention for viruses? You can buy products from reputable and reliable supplier, or thoroughly cook food at a high temperature. And the example of viruses, the first is norovirus. You can get norovirus if you consume drink or food that contaminate, and it's shared by person-to-person contact. And the second example is hepatitis A virus, usually transmitted by fecal or road either through contaminated drinks or food. The example is like from shellfish.
Next is parasites. Parasites are organisms whose life are always detrimental to the organism they inhabit, and they can be found on various kinds of foods. And then there are 2 types of parasites. The first one is protozoa and helminths. Protozoa are single-cell organisms and they are not be able to multiply in food but in human. For example, like Toxoplasma gondii found in the undercooked meat and Giardia lambia found in the contaminated water. And then helminths are multiple cell organisms and cannot multiply in human. For example, like fluke and roundworms. Next, chemical contamination. It happens when food is contaminated by chemicals. And then there are some factors. The first one is food additive. For example, sulfur dioxides. It used as a food preservative, such as preserved fruit, dried food, fresh and frozen meat. And then artificial coloring matters. For example, red 2G. It is a synthetic coloring matters and can impact a range of red colors in food. And the next factors is pesticide and veterinary drugs residues. For example, pesticides are chemicals used to eradicate pests such as vegetable or fruits. And then veterinary drugs found in the animal food like eggs, milk, and meat. And then the next factors is chemical detergents, for example, detergents and disinfectants. Food can be contaminated when the equipment is not clean, like it wasn't washed clean. And then container materials, for example, plastic containers, it can release chemicals at high temperature. And then disposable tray liners, it can release chemicals when used repeatedly. And then biochemical toxins, for example, the first one is picotoxin. Picotoxin are toxins caused by seafood. So the prevention is buy coral reef fish from reputable and licensed seafood shop. And then bacterial toxins. Bacterial toxins are bacteria that appear when fish is stored in proper temperatures. And so the prevention is store fish at 4 Celsius or below for chilled fish. And then the last factors is other natural toxins, for example tetrodotoxins. Tetrodotoxins are toxins in puffer fish. And then plant toxins are natural toxins in the plant, like for example in bamboo shoots, spinach, and apricot seeds. So the prevention is purchase food from reliable supplier, check the color and odor carefully.
Physical contamination. Some non-chemical article or object are called physical contamination. Although some may not pose threat to customer health, they may do harm to customer, such as sharp tool, bamboo, stick, glass fragment, and resin. They seriously affect the image of food and customer impression. For example is packaging material, accessories, fragments, hairs, and dressing for coughing wounds. And the short is contamination occurs in raw materials of food or during food production, storage, transportation, and display. And then the next is prevention. The prevention is examine raw material of food and clean and handle food carefully. And then contamination routes. Direct contamination, direct contact of food with contamination source. And then cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is contact of food with contamination source through mobile or fixed media. Food safety. Food safety means the content of food present no health hazard for humans. And then food hygiene means to keep equipment and facilities and food premise clean and food handlers maintain good personal hygiene. So as to meet the standard of hygiene, it also means to comply with the operation principle of keeping food from being contaminated, reduce the chance for bacteria to reproduce and thoroughly eliminating the bacteria in the food during food processing. Advantage of better food hygiene and cost of poor food hygiene. This table have many different of advantages of better food hygiene and cost of poor food hygiene. For regulation is comply with statutory requirement, but for cost of poor food hygiene is breach the law and be prosecuted. And then the second is for business. But for business, for advantage of better food hygiene is earn reputation and boost business and then improve productivity. And what about cost of poor food hygiene is lost goodwill, reduce productivity, make cost closure of business. And then for employee, the advantage of better food hygiene is elevate morale, reduce staff turnover, good working environment. For cost of poor food hygiene, the employees lost work days, increased staff turnover, unemployment. And then for food, advantage of better food hygiene is extend shelf life of food, ensure the quality of food. About cost of poor food hygiene, the food is food wastage. And then the conclusion, it is critically important to keep the food sold hygiene and safe in addition to improving food quality. Emphasis should also be put on healthy diet of customer and the public. And I think maybe you should look for food in a trusted place, and maybe you can see the quality of the food from its color or smell, so that we can differentiate between what it's worth eating or not. That's all from my group. Thank you for watching, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.